Hey, this is Terry Bean coming at you with another exciting episode of Business Growth Time. As always, I'm joined with my wonderful and lovely co-host, Janet E. Johnson. Today, I actually gave a little bit of thought as to what the E stands for, and it stands for Everlong, which is my favorite Foo Fighters song. Foo Fighters, Everlong. We should cue it up in the background at some point. Hi, Janet. How are you?
Good. We had a great night last night. Like I said, we hung out with some people a little too late, thanks to Steven. So my eyes probably don't look the best, but it was all internet marketing people, and it was an awesome time and great people to meet. So we're doing really good, other than a little bit tired. And how are you?
And hungover? Is that like a euphemism for I drank too much wine? I'm tired. Is that what
that is? No, I didn't. It's just a little less sleep. So
okay,
for energetic or engaging. Yes.
We actually used a couple of those in the past. So
good
job, Sean.
I know there's a lot of E words. I guess I never realized how many E words there really are.
There is. So what are we going to talk about today? We had a format and everything. I'm excited.
I know. First off, we want to introduce ourselves. If you're new here and never heard, or if you're listening to this on the podcast or through Blab, I'm Janet E. Johnson is how you can find me online. And I help businesses with their social media. I manage a lot of social media, do consulting and that kind of thing. Terry, I'll introduce. Wait, Terry's over that way, I bet. Am I pointing?
I am over that way. You're right.
Okay. So Terry is awesomeness, and we're going to talk about his book today. See, I'm tricking you. So we are bringing up his book, and I'm actually going to put it in the Blab. People don't even realize that you are an author of a networking book. So I got it here. And tell us just a tiny bit about the book, and I will actually put the link in.
All right, I'll tell you a little bit about the book. The book's it's called Be Connected, and it's the idea of the things you need to know to be more effective at networking. It's broken down into 5 sections, and in the way it's written, you could pick up the book, look at the table of contents, answer a question that you have in your mind, and go directly there. You don't even have to read it in order because it's effectively 75 blog posts. But the 5 main sections are what you need to do before networking, what you need to do at a networking event, what you need to do to network effectively online. And I wrote that as evergreen as possible. What you need to do after the networking takes place. And the first section is all about the universe's relationship to networking. And I'm a big spiritualist kind of guy. So that's actually my favorite part. I like it. A lot of people have read it and seem to think it's pretty good. And it was enjoyable to write. And it was based on the training I was doing to help people just network better. Because the better we all get at networking, the better all of our networking will be.
Awesome. So we put the link in here too, so that people are aware of that. And we're going to be putting that on our website, which is actually businessgrowthtime.com, where you can find all our past episodes too. So
absolutely.
Let's get into, one more thing. We have to have our little fun. I have it queued. So you guys can participate that are watching on the Blab. I have the song queued from the 80s because Terry and I went to high school together. If you haven't heard, we've explained the story a few times, but we went to high school together. So we want a little bit of fun to start out with an 80s song. So here we go. And I am going to actually trick Terry, or we're testing Terry here because he always seems to figure it out. Here we go.
All right, so Jefferson, I don't know if it's Starship, airplane. It might just be Starship at this time. And is this Mannequin, the movie? And Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Is that what we got?
Just too easy for you. Yes. You didn't even give the audience time to participate.
Suck at giving me audience.
Starship, yes.
Sorry, audience. I was excited.
You got it all. Yep, it was that easy. So awesome.
It's crazy to me to think about a band like them who started back in like 1965 and rocked the hell out of Woodstock and then came out with that pile of crap. I mean, no, that song's lovely is what I meant to say. I'm sorry, I got confused.
I love the Mannequin movie though, but anyway.
You did? Are you an Angel McCarthy guy? Or lady?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's
Good
great.
point, Sean. Good. And if anybody knows how to help me make that, I definitely want to load that up to Amazon. I need to convert that. You're 100% right. I'd sell a lot more as opposed to having it be ordered. So that's a topic for offline. So today, in can you know what? Because you did that to me. Guess what? 15 minutes social. You put together this amazing program that people can help learn how to be more social in a short period of time. Talk to us about it.
Oh, the program. Well, it's basically social strategy. And this program will actually relate to time management tips anyway on social media. So what it does is it goes through setting up a strategy, a plan, having that content calendar set up. It goes through all those different pieces in a video format. So it's 15minutesocial.com is where you can find it. And great program for just making sure that your strategy is the mother of productivity. Exactly. And so it helps your time management because a lot of people don't know what to post on their social media and they go, oh, I have to post today. What am I going to post? And this helps you really create that plan so that you know. And then there's a lot of tools in there that I suggest that I use. And I go through all those different tools like Hootsuite and some of the basics. So it's great for somebody even especially starting out or just really wants to revamp their social media. So that will be our start of the time management discussion. That's my tip.
That's a heck of a nice segue right there. Time management, productivity. Everybody feels like they're managing more than they possibly can, right? Do more with less, get it all done. And holy cow, it seems to be like this ginormous stressor, right? Everybody's running around like busy is the new black. and it shouldn't be, right? Do you talk to anybody? It's like, you know what, man, I'm having a great time. Life is awesome. I work when I feel like it. And I've really effectively implemented Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week. Or do you talk to everybody? It's like, I'm overwhelmed and I can't handle another thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a multitask world. And so in order to do that multitask, you need to hone in and focus and, have some sort of, there's a lot of different time management tools out there, and we could talk tools also, but there's just things that I think every person's different and needs different things in their own way that works best for them too.
Excellent. So I don't want to get into the tools as much, right? I want to talk more about the mindset of what that means, because let's be totally honest, multitasking equates to getting a bunch of stuff done in kind of a half-assed fashion. Is that kind of true? Can you multitask and be effective at everything? I don't see that being the case, right?
It's much tougher when you're multitasking in order to get things done. So when I'm trying to get, unless it's a specific social media project when you work in social media, obviously you have to have those things open a lot of times, but if I have a very specific project to get done, I will turn off everything. And, I've had to turn off the blab notifications. Obviously that's a big one lately for a lot of us. And then, Facebook, I'll even close out of it completely unless I am working on a project that's specific to Facebook.
It's tough, right? Because it's like we're Pavlov's dogs. That ding goes off, whether it's on your mobile phone or on the laptop or wherever it is, and you got to run to check it out. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't get to this in the next 3 seconds, they're going to forget about us. Airplane mode for sure, Sean. I 100% agree. Got to turn that noise off. So I think that's a great tip, right? Alleviate the distraction is number one. In social media, whether it's this or Periscope or Meerkat or Twitter or Facebook or even email and text, heck, phone calls. Remember when we used to get phone calls and talk on the phone? That was fun. Those things can all just be a total distraction. So like Sean says, airplane mode.
Kids.
You can't alleviate kids as much.
Can they go back to school yet, please? Sorry.
Go back to school. I think you and I live in some of the only areas that kids are still in school or out of school until after Labor Day.
We have a few days. Yes. I'm like, yes, this is my last recording with them home for the summer.
Tuesday.
But honestly, time management, I mean, when you're not being interrupted by your children, that will increase what you get done too. So that's, like you said, all those different distractions, get them out of the way.
So
and kids, get out of the way. Sorry, that wasn't very nice. But
I did the same thing you did, right? You saw me on Periscope. I was on Periscope promoting this. My kid's out there throwing acorns at me while I'm doing a scope. And I'm like, all right, listen, this is fun for now, but I'm about to record a show. I can't have you doing that while we're doing this. So please go away. Oh, that's nice, Dad. Well, I said please. So all right. So eliminate distractions, number one. Number two, and I don't think these are really in any order, but we got to put a number system to them somehow, is figure out what your core purpose is. I think a lot of times people are so easily swayed and distracted because they're not 100% sure what the heck they're doing and trying to get done. If you have a cause or a why that is so strong that it's pulling you in the direction, it's easier to stay on point, to stay on task, and to absolutely get things done. Does that resonate with you? Yes.
That day when you wake up in the morning, the one thing I do is I sit down and I revisit this. So this is my to-do list. And I actually have mine segmented into different categories. It's kind of sounds very anal, but you know what? If I focus on that list, I get my things done. If I don't, and I don't have to, and I have to print it. And I have to now I do use an app, but I actually print it and go back to the old school way because I need to, if you feel like you've achieved things, at least this is for me. Everybody can be different, but for me, what I do is I have to cross off things off the list. Things get added faster than they get crossed off most of the time. But that's what makes a difference for me. And then it feels like, okay, I accomplished something at the end of the day.
Show us the list again. Show us, because it was really nice and typed out.
Well, and then I have a lot of add-ons too. So yes, I have a lot of add-ons and I base it on different clients and then my own business too. I have a business growth time section. I have my son's YouTube channel section. It's all, and that goes back to what you were saying. It hones in on what exactly my end all goal is.
Absolutely.
And obviously, there's many different types of projects to do.
So you're like Santa Claus in a little way, right? You make a list, you check it twice or 3 times or 4 times throughout the day and keep going back to it and making sure that you're on it, right? I like that. I like taking a machete to my to-do list. So I don't just cross things off, man. I just eliminate those things. They gotta go. Success Sean here suggested that he makes a list and then takes it to 3 major points. So I'm going to dip into my next thing is find an accountability partner, right? If you've got productivity and you've got things you've got to get done, have somebody that you're sharing that list with. I used to do 6 things, right? 6 for 6 was the goal. And we'd have an email conversation between me and my partner. And these are the 6 tasks that I commit to achieving today. This was the tough part, task versus project, because you put in a project and you can't necessarily get 6 things done in a day because a project is just a series of tasks. So you've got to be really specific about what you commit to get done. But then you start the next day with what did you intend to get done and how did you do on it? And what are you going to do today? And then obviously those things end up being number 1 or number 2 on the next day's list. Ever use anything like that?
Yeah. It's very, very similar. If I don't get it done, and there's certain things that, if I won't stop my day until they have to be done, but I do agree. Sometimes, we all have, a lot of us are in business for ourselves. Some people aren't in business for themselves. Some people, listening to this podcast might be a little bit different, but we have to they might be working for a boss, but still makes a difference if you get those tasks done. And not procrastinating, I think, is a big time management tip, trying to work ahead of the game. But I think we're all guilty of that procrastination piece. Oh, that podcast has to go out tomorrow. Let's, we got to get that done. We waited the whole week when we had it recorded a week ahead, that kind of thing. I'm just saying. So I think making sure that we're not doing that procrastination to put it off to the next day, like you were saying, if we can have it on our list and say, okay, these are the tasks that I get done. But, this is a pretty big list. And my thinking goes to, you should come up with a top 5 for the day, because if you have too much on your list, it's overwhelming. And I think that will mess up that time management also.
I think having too much on the list allows me to put the pro in procrastinate. I get really exceptional at it, because when that list is so big, you look at it and it's like overwhelming. And next thing you know, you're like, I can't do any of this because I don't even know where to start. I just don't. Sorry, Sean, I didn't mean to take your line. It's a good one, though, and I'm glad that you were thinking the same way. I'm so good at it. Yay, pro. I actually wrote a blog post on putting the pro in procrastinate about 2 years ago. And it's nice. I haven't looked at it since. I keep meaning to.
Right. Nice.
So what we've got a handful of tips in here that I've put down. Not procrastinating, make a to-do list, have an accountability partner, have that purpose and that why, and then eliminate distractions. Anything else stick out that really means, hey, we got to get to this? I do have one. The other one I had put down was, if it's a waste of time for your business, like for instance, we were talking about that image I created this morning to promote the show, and I went into Canva and created it. And I heard Brian Fanzo talk about this too. He sets a timer for 8 minutes when he hits Canva, because and if people don't know what Canva is, it's a really, really great graphic design tool. But years ago, I think it's been about 3.5 years, I hired a graphic designer, because I am not, for me, time management, that's going to save me a ton of time. I looked at, should I learn graphic design? Should that, be an area? And no. So if you're not an expert, and you can't be an expert in all. So what is going to help that time management? Hire a VA for the little work. We don't edit our own podcast. We have a VA editing it, because that's not beneficial to our time. So I think pushing some things off on others and getting that help will only grow your business more. I couldn't agree more. For years ago, it dawned on me that I had two choices. I could either get better at my weaknesses, or I could farm those out and make sure they were covered and just continually get better at my strengths. So if it's not something I'm good at, if I have to spend more than 5 minutes on it, it ain't going to happen. Right. And so let somebody who's good at it, who likes doing it, who loves doing it, do it. We talked about your graphic today, right? It's like we were talking about the time. I did
my own, and I don't normally, yes. And I'm like, it was fine, I guess. But I was disappointed, because I always have the graphic guy who's just awesome.
Carlo does great graphics, right? But you can't compare your graphics to Carlo's graphics. You're not a graphic person. And you know what your graphic did? It conveyed the point, right? So when you started talking about it, I immediately wrote, stop turd polishing, because what you could have done was spend another 3 hours trying to make that graphic better. But instead you said, you know what? It's good enough and it does what I needed to do. Just ship. I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to let it be. And I'm not going to sweat that it's not perfect, because the reality is perfection doesn't really exist. You're out of the bounds if you're chasing perfection. You're going to waste so much time trying to achieve something, and you're still never going to get there. You're going to get to 98%. But really, what's the difference between 93% effective and 98% effective? And don't say 5%. I already know that answer. Right? What by the time all is said and done, what conversion rate changes in that last few percent?
I agree. I agree. It's hard to, when you're perfect, you want the perfection. Just kidding.
That's it. High fives. High fives.
No, it is hard though not to have that side of that you want to have that perfection side of things. And there's a, like in branding and all that, it's, I think you got to have a happy medium, but I do think it is important.
Sean's got a great line here that I'm going to throw out.
I love it. I know. The
3 Ds: do it, dump it, or delegate it. And I have no idea what the next line says. I can't decipher all that.
So. It's a foreign language. No, that's great. Hi, Joe.
He's got his awesome acronym out there that's like 12 characters long. I'm sure we'll be catching it in a moment. So
yeah, exactly.
So the step 6 is actually spend less time on your weaknesses. I dropped my taco.
Sean, I wish. Okay, the podcast listeners, we have Sean in here. He's actually throwing in some great tips. Now, I would do like the 3 Ds. So do it, dump it, or delegate it. And then the other thing you guys can read yourself. But anyway, it's
the acronym.
We're having fun. It's great when we do live. It's just a blast. I think I love people being into the live, and we just don't want to forget that people might be listening to the recording on a podcast too. The other thing I had was just apps, a couple apps that I really help my time management. Yep. One of them is
Wow, this went so well that she decided to bail on her own show. Hey, can you guys still hear and see me and Janet's gone, or am I the one that's totally gone and out here in left field? Somebody say that you can see me. I'm feeling lonely.
I'm back.
Here comes Janet.
I'm back. It hit a button. And then it was locking me out. Hold on, because it's a lock seat, but I got it. Okay, so it is Toggl, Toggl, and you can actually narrow it down to different projects so that you can time yourself. Because I feel like if I time myself and pay attention to how long I'm taking on a project, I get it. I focus in on that time. The other one I use all the time is just Timer Plus on my phone. It's called Timer Plus. So I'll say, okay, I'm only going to spend 15 minutes, working on what I'm going to post on, or I'm going to have Facebook open for 10, 15 minutes and, respond to people, that kind of thing. The other one that I did this list with is called Wunderlist. It's actually a U, so I can put it in here. Wunderlist. It's an app, and I always, have that on my phone. Yep, you got it. So it's an app, and that really helps my time management, is to create that list. I'll do that list. I'll sometimes wake up in the morning, or when I'm going to bed at night, I'll just, kind of look over that list for the next day, that type of thing. So those are kind of some of the, time management apps that I use.
So I was using Trello, and it was really more of a project management tool. But it was the idea of being able to create that list and move things through the different categories, and it's Trello. And it was really powerful, and it ties into my last tip, and the one that I picked up from watching David Allen's TED Talk right before hopping on this. And it's the idea of get stuff out of your head, right? And I am so guilty of this. I've got a pretty darn good memory, which makes me a pretty effective networker, because I can see people and know when I met them and where I met them and what they're looking for, and that helps a lot, and they feel really good about it. But because my memory's good, I trust it. And because I trust it, I don't spend as much time jotting things down or writing things down. And David Allen says you need to create a system, a process by which you can take that information, dump it, put it somewhere, know that it's going to be exactly where you need it to be, exactly when you need it to be there, and not carry it around, because every instance of it popping up in your head again is distracting you, which goes against rule number 1, from what you need to be focused on right now, right? So get that system in place. And I thought that was a really, really valuable tip.
It is.
And I think from that standpoint,
Well, let's end with this.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we give our audience a specific call to action for them to do in the next 24 hours that's really going to improve their time management skills. So go ahead, go for it, Terry.
I would do one of two things, right? I would either come up with an app or a productivity tool that you can use to get that information out of your head. I'm going to go back to using Trello and creating those lists. That's a tool that I've used, felt comfortable with, and has worked for me. So I personally am going to take the action and commit to doing that. That's my tip. What do you get?
Cool. Mine would be time yourself. You know, in the next 24 hours before you start a project, I don't care what what app you're using, or if you just do it right on your computer, you have an egg timer, doesn't matter what it is. But time yourself. You're going to start a project and you have an estimation of how long it's going to take. Set that timer and you'll be amazed. You want to race against the time. You know, think about it. When when I have my son was little and he didn't want to get dressed in the morning, that kind of thing, we'd set a timer and make it a race, So if you do that, you do accomplish a lot more. I know it works for me, so that's my suggestion in the next 24 hours.
Fantastic. I've got a great joke on that that I'm going to not use.
Okay.
Not going to say. All right. So they can find us, they being the audience, at businessgrowthtime.com. We invite you to come check it out. We're going to be launching one of our last shows with Bob Berg tomorrow. I'm super excited that that's going out. And Wendy Pett's coming up next week. And that was an amazing, amazing interview that we did last week. Excited about that. We're on Facebook at Business Growth Time. We just actually started a Twitter place today, finally, Biz Growth Time. You can follow us there. They can get us at Stitcher. They can get us on iTunes and download the podcast. Of course, our lovely Facebook group is highly interactive. And finally, just because we're on Blab, we have a little channel or a page called Blab for Business. Technically, it's a group, blabforbusiness.com, or just search Blab for Business in Facebook. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is we're everywhere you want to be, and we'd love to connect with you at any one of those places.
Find us.
So what is the group name for Biz Growth? It's actually Business Growth Time. And in fact, it's right there. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was Blab for Business. Yes. If you're looking for the one for the Business Growth Time group, it's just search Business Growth Time and you'll find it. Yes.
And they're both groups and they're both fun. And, we're in there and we have our speakers join us so you can communicate with them. They're in there. So it's cool. It's cool. How'd I do with the wrap up? I don't normally do that.
Awesome, but we haven't hit stop recording yet, so we better do that. Awesome. Well,